Now, as the Attorney General for the state of Mississippi, Lynn Fitch, joins us on the road this morning, a long way from home. She is headed to the southern border. Good morning, General Fitch.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. I appreciate your time while you're on the road. So what's the purpose of this trip?
So this is a great opportunity for us to see where we stood at the border a year ago, basically, and see where we are now. I'm in Yuma, Arizona, with a number of Republican colleague attorneys general. We're going to be hosted by a number of sheriffs here, a number of the medical community, and so it's really important for us to see where we stood at the border previously and where we are now. Certainly President Trump has done an amazing job. I'm grateful for him to making the border a priority, to secure it, and certainly defend the integrity of our borders. It's really significant to see the change. We were just going over the recent numbers as far as how it's come down just since President Biden took office. Since President Trump took over from President Biden. The encounters are down tremendously. Under President Trump, since he's taken office, the illegal border crossings are down 95%. Daily border crossings are down by 93%. So for us, that's a huge security measure that is so helpful for protecting everyone in our communities and all of our communities within the state of Mississippi.
So I'd like for us to rewind a year, if we can, and I'd like for you to paint a picture of what you saw a year ago when you were standing in the same spot that you're going to be standing today, because even though we were in an election year, we had not gotten to that kind of fever pitch point of the election cycle where the Biden administration tried to kind of slow things down to make it look a little bit better than it was. So what was it that you saw a year ago?
Well, previously seeing the border, again, just easily coming across. You just saw person after person coming across. Unfortunately, you saw rafts where they were muling the drugs over. Certainly the cartels were running the border, drugs freely coming across, the fentanyl being quite the issue, the human trafficking, which is so significant. To see that those individuals, to see the drugs coming across and knowing that they were landing in all of our states, because now every state had become a border state. Being out on the Rio Grande, again, knowing where the cartels are easily pushing people across, they've charged every individual coming across into our country. Horrific to see the landowners who were afraid as these illegals came in, coming through their land, their homes, the destruction, and people in all the communities being very fearful as they witness this happening. Today, we're excited. We'll be looking at the border where this has been abandoned. You'll see hopefully the abandoned ladders where the wall construction is beginning to start again. But it's been at a tremendous cost, not only at the security measures, but again, the cost to all of Americans for bringing in all these millions of illegal immigrants into our country. So I'm excited to think that we are having very few individuals cross over. Certainly, we saw over 300,000 unaccompanied minors coming into our country, and that is just so horrific, so sad for these young children. And the flow of drugs, we certainly know that the fentanyl has come across. We've seen it in our state, but across our country. And, just last year alone, enough fentanyl was seized to kill 14 billion people. And so that's alarming. So we're glad to see the flow of that has come to a halt.
All right, so if we advance the conversation beyond, the first thing you've got to do is stop the flow. Then you've got to try and get rid of the bad people. And we know that Tom Homan's crew and ICE are doing an incredible job. What's the next step beyond that? And I guess as part of that, you talked about some of the situation that we've seen in our state. We've seen a lot of cooperation between state, local, and federal law enforcement officials working together on some trafficking issues within the state of Mississippi. So where are we in terms of the way that it is affecting Mississippi, and what is the next step?
Well, you're exactly correct. All working together is making a huge difference. All the partnerships, the state, the local, the federal entities, law enforcement, all working together is just been extremely beneficial for the state of Mississippi. Actually, for our Attorney General's office, signed an MOU with ICE. They're called a 287G agreement. We signed this agreement with ICE in March. It's important. We're the only law enforcement agency that has signed up with ICE. All 80 of our sworn law enforcement officers are going to be trained and certified by ICE. And that's so important, Richard, because, again, these are bad criminals in our communities. I mean, these are the murderers, the rapists, the drug traffickers, the human rights abusers. And so our goal is to work with our federal law enforcement partners and to go after these, to get these criminals, bring them in, and then deport them. We don't need them in our communities, and we certainly don't need them harming or creating any criminal activity further in the state of Mississippi. We're excited about working with our partners, and we'll continue to do in any potential additional operation that we possibly can.
What's the relationship between your office and DPS, Sean Tyndall running the Department of Public Safety?
Oh, great partnership. We do multi-jurisdictional operations together on so many different levels. Certainly our fentanyl, our drug trafficking, our human trafficking, and then anything that involves the illegal immigration into our state. So, again, the partnership makes a huge difference because we're stronger, we're more united, we're sharing information, and we're on the ground together.
When you talk to your colleagues, attorneys general in other states, where are they in comparison to where we are in Mississippi in terms of those partnerships with law enforcement, the partnerships with ICE? I know you said Mississippi is the state that does that, and how much in terms of sharing ideas is happening as you are with your colleagues?
Well, again, it's important. We are working very hand in hand. Sometimes one state is doing something else and they share best practices with us. Same thing for us. If we found a process or method that works, we're working together. We filed a number of lawsuits together on behalf of our respective states. That's significant, too, because you have to look at so many different facets of protection. For Mississippi, we filed against the Department of Labor. It was important because we saw that we needed to file with the private sector against the United States Department of Labor's rule that was going to allow immigration workers to engage in union actions that weren't allowed for U.S. citizens that would be in our agriculture sector. And for us, we're an agriculture state, so being protective of those who already work here, not allowing that to happen. Again, that was an opportunity to not only benefit our state, but all the other states to keep that from happening. So we do work on a lot of lawsuits together. We do work on a lot of operations together.
One of the things that we've heard from farmers, the H-1B visas are the ones that are in the tech sector, and we hear a lot about that. But H-2A, I think, is the visa program that allows, in a lot of cases, South African workers to come. But we've heard from farmers that that is a process that has been politicized, and they have been the target of audits coming from the federal government. How much of that is coming across your desk, and what are you seeing on that front?
Well, it's certainly an avenue we need to be looking into, and certainly for us, though, we're really mostly focused right now on these criminals. Mm-hmm. Again, never want to see these criminals in all of our cities and towns going after and harming any individual. And again, these are bad criminals, and they're here. So we've been focusing on that area of it. But at the same time, for our agricultural community, it was so important to file that lawsuit on behalf of all Mississippians to protect our agricultural focus. But again, that helped everyone across the United States along those lines. We do see, as things arise, we've been very quick to step up and defend our country, our state, as all the Republican AGs come together. And we'll continue to do that as things arise. This is a good opportunity for us to share, though, to talk about what's happening, what can we continue to do in our states to be protective. and what we'll continue to do moving forward as we see different things that come up that we need to address. You know, one of the things that's been an issue, it's been a very big cost factor for Americans with this influx of people coming across our borders. I was just recently looking, the House Budget Committee said the total cost of the Biden-Harris open border policy was $150 billion per year. So that's taking a lot of resources away from our Mississippians and from all Americans.
Attorney General Lynn Fitch, she's in Yuma, Arizona, going to see the southern border today, and what a difference a year makes. Thank you so much for your time. Look forward to talking with you after this trip, what you saw, what you learned, and we'll catch up soon.
That'd be great. Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
You as well. Attorney General Lynn Fitch joining us on the road today, traveling to the southern border and kind of seeing the progress that has been made there. We will wrap up Mornings with Richard Cross with you right after this timeout.